All right. Good afternoon. Those of you joining in over on News 6 Plus and our News 6 YouTube channel. We're back once again at the helm in the Digital Weather Center over here at News 6, bracing for multiple rounds of severe thunderstorms possibly across our viewing area, not only now today, but into your Mother's Day weekend. Now, it's funny, I wanted to name the title of the video a montage of severe thunderstorms for my Rocky fans out there who love a good training montage. In this case, it's more of a thunderstorm montage. And let me get you over to the satellite right now because things are already getting interesting. So I'll let the satellite loop play for just a couple moments. News 6 Plus viewers, thank you so much for tuning in this afternoon. I hope you've been having a solid Wednesday so far. Same for those of you taking the time to join us over on the News 6 YouTube channel. We are going to start getting back full swing into these live updates, not only when severe weather strikes, but especially for the hurricane season. Now, for the satellite image, if you notice during the hours of about 11 till about now, we've had those thin white lines of wispy, fair weather cumulus popping up everywhere. That's a signal that the environment is ready to rock and roll in terms of developing our thunderstorms. And if you look up there near Gainesville, Alachua County, Marion County, all the way back down to as far south as Hillsborough and Pinellas County, our west coast sea breeze is alive and kicking. It is moving off towards the east, getting ready to move further into the Marion County area, getting up and close and personal to Ocala, the villages in Sumter County. And pretty soon we're going to see that threat continue to persist as it moves towards the central portions of our viewing area. We switch over to the radar, and even though earlier on in the morning we didn't have much going on just yet, we typically see initiation of our thunderstorms right around the lunch hour, noon to 1 p.m. at the latest. And if you notice, within the last couple of scans, that radar is getting active. It is definitely getting active. And in fact, I would argue that the system up there near Gainesville is likely going to get a severe thunderstorm warning, if not at least a special weather statement on it sooner than later. I'm looking at my phone radar right now to see if we have anything on it just yet, because it does look like it's taking on pretty good characteristics very quickly. And in fact, it looks like up near Palm Coast, the upper periphery of Volusia County, we're already getting some pretty good thunderstorm development there as well. So folks, the key takeaway here is it's going to be an active day, and it's going to be an active next couple of days into your upcoming weekend. Let's take you over to your rain chances. For today, you can see whereabouts we have those showers and storms already beginning to bubble up, with daytime heating helping to enhance their activity. 70 in Ocala, the villages at 70, Palm Coast also at a 70% shot at seeing some rain. Much of us down here in the Four Corners counties, to include Seminole, Brevard, we're sitting on average at about 60% shot. You get some good rain today. You can also see that pocket right over where I live in northeastern Polk County, right on the fringe of Osceola County. Obviously, weather never behaves in straight lines, so I would definitely anticipate if you are getting some stronger thunderstorms near the Haines City, Davenport area, these could likely bleed over eastward into Poinciana and Kissimmee. These are your rain chances for tomorrow. Palm Coast at 80%. The rest of us generally under that 60% threshold once again. And you can see pretty much where that sea breeze is going to collide. The East Coast breeze and the West Coast breeze are going to run face first into one another, more or less. And that is why we have the severe thunderstorm risks that we do. So this is going to be for Friday. You can see here we have a risk for severe weather Friday. Let me go ahead and adjust this while we're on camera as well. Let me make sure. So there's tomorrow, and then we have bring up today's risk. Let me go ahead and adjust this very quickly. I was writing a story before this. I do apologize. There is our risk for today. This was newly designated as of their 12:30 in the afternoon update. You can see where the sea breeze is going to collide. Eastern Marion County, a large majority of Lake County, the northeast border of Polk County, upper half of Osceola County, and then Orange, Seminole, Volusia, Flagler. You are directly underneath that level 1 risk for severe weather. I'll go ahead and change the subtitle if you're just joining us right now. This is the severe weather risk for the day today. And this is going to persist. We're also tracking as to whether or not this is going to move into the weekend. For the day today, you saw the level 1 risk, level 1 again for tomorrow. A lot more of our viewing area encompassed. Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos has already designated it a weather alert day. There's going to be a lot of action going on during the warmest parts of the afternoon and the early evening hours of your Thursday. And then we fast forward to Friday. Friday, we see a continuation of this. This is as far as the Storm Prediction Center graphics will go unless days 4 through 8 have a level 2 risk highlighted that far in advance. We're not quite there yet. If I pull up a day 4 risk for Saturday, we have nothing on their charts just yet, which is good news. However, as we get further into this briefing, I'll go ahead and explain why it is we could see a continuation of these thunderstorms into your Saturday, and then especially Mother's Day Sunday. So if you have a special occasion planned for all the moms out there, have some indoor backup plans as well, some indoor festivities in store just to be on the safe side. Let's take you through some of the model data. There goes the loop. We're going to take you through time. I'm just going to let you watch this in motion first to show you how we're looking at that montage of thunderstorms back to back to back all the way through Friday. You can see the model has run through its time frame. This is Friday afternoon. I know it says Saturday at 2 a.m. Ignore that. This is going to be Friday afternoon. We have the thunderstorms popping once again over the Orlando metro area, the attractions getting down into my neck of the woods of Haines City, Davenport, Kissimmee, and Osceola County, and then the southern half of Osceola and Brevard, kind of whereabouts the Yeehaw Junction area is to about Melbourne and the coastline of southern Brevard County. Now, let me stop the loop so I can take you hour by hour. This is what we're looking at right now. So the model is already doing a fantastic job of showing the development of our storms, albeit it's a little more generous for parts of Orange, Seminole, Osceola. You can see it's not really capturing the features that we have ongoing for Gainesville nearing the Ocala area too well. And in fact, it almost misses it altogether, which is why I have another model pulled up right after this to see how it's doing. And you can see strongest stuff is going to be impacting your area if you are within that level 1 risk between the hours of 5 to 9 o'clock. If you head over to clickorlando.com, I put an article today discussing what the impacts, the threats, and the timing looks like to plan the rest of your day today, Thursday and Friday accordingly. And it does look like, even though this is severe thunderstorms that we're talking about, they are going to form in a rhythmic fashion. We'll go ahead and subside as the sun goes down. Overnight cooling will take effect. Our sea breeze will then turn to a land breeze, which is the opposite, and I'll explain that to you here momentarily. And then tomorrow, same song and dance. Around 12, 1 o'clock, we'll start to see the development begin. 2 to 4 is when those storms will really start to intensify. 5 to 8 p.m., the worst is upon us. Same thing for Friday. The only difference is you can see on the graphics I showed you earlier, the points with which this is going to be happening are going to be changing. Let's take you over to our next model. This is the high-resolution thunderstorm model is what we'll call it, and I'll take you hour by hour. This model doing a bit better of a job. If you look, it is capturing the west coast sea breeze rocking in. And then by 5 o'clock, 6, and 7 o'clock, that's when you can see that collision beginning to take shape. This is where our models come into better agreement. It does look like Orange, Seminole, Lake, parts of Polk and Osceola County will likely see the greatest risk at those severe thunderstorms. Just to the immediate northwest of Flagler County, outside of our viewing area, you have a shot at some prevalent thunderstorms as well. And you can see those are going to persist even just after sunset. We're going to continue to see that unzippering effect thanks to the sea breeze colliding, working with our winds above where these thunderstorms are forming. So we got to get that stuff to happen down at the surface, that collision. As they rise up into the atmosphere, we do have some pretty good westerly winds, 5, 8, 10,000 feet up. And as you can see, as we get into the overnight hours, those thunderstorms are going to try to feed off of it and get bullied back towards the east. That's why I'd mentioned if you're in a Polk or an Osceola County residence, you could see some of that stuff retrograde back into Kissimmee, into the greater southwestern Orlando area. Thursday, looking like much of the same. You can see we clear out, and then by the lunch hour, we start to see development once again. By 3, 4 o'clock, those storms are intensifying, and then by 5, 6, and 7, the strongest stuff is upon us. Again, from Palm Coast, Flagler County, all the way down to southern Osceola, Brevard, and Polk County. If you're watching, that is where our greatest risk for severe weather is going to exist. And all in all, I'll tell you right out of the gate, the biggest threats with these are going to be those damaging gusty winds inside the thunderstorms. Those are called down rush winds. When your updraft or the air lifting up in the thunderstorm, building it, hits the point where it just can't sustain itself anymore and it quite literally tumbles back down to the surface. As air rises, it cools. As air drops, it sinks. It drops, it sinks. No way. As air drops, it warms. But in this case, because it's rushing down to the surface, that air doesn't really have the time to cool off. And that's why when it hits the surface, it's a lot stronger than when it was first rising up because it's still colder, it's still denser. If you ever go outside and it's breezy after a thunderstorm has rocked through, you'll notice the wind and the air temperature will have cooled pretty dramatically as a result. And then finally, into Mother's Day weekend. I know that was a lot to take in. That's why I wanted to get on the stream here to better break it down for you all. Again, if you want the details in a bit less of a fire hose manner than I'm giving you on stream right now, head over to clickorlando.com. Our chief meteorologist Candace wrote up a story for you all to take in. I just recently published another one breaking down the hour-by-hour threats, how to better get prepared for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So if you want to take that in, feel free to do so. We'd really appreciate it. As we go through the rest of the week into the weekend, we have an interesting phenomena that is going to build up off our west coast. If you watch, we have a little area of energy that's currently on Thursday here on the chart. If you look, it's positioned over near Dallas, Houston, Central Texas. As that continues to bubble up, I'm taking you through very slowly. Look at what happens. We get a bit of additional cooler air from up north breaking away from our jet, and as a result, we get a nice area of upper level spinning, upper level low development right over Dixie Alley, Louisiana, driving up their rain and flash flood risks. And then if you look to the right over us here in Florida, I have that yellow circle and the 3 arrows showing you all that we will be in the optimal quadrant of this storm for more showers, thunderstorms, and possible severe weather because we're in what's called the exit area of the jet stream. And by that, basically, think of it like a garden hose. As you turn the water on, it comes out of the nozzle. If you put your thumb over the front of the nozzle to kind of increase the velocity, notice that the water not only spreads out, but it speeds up. And that's exactly what happens here. That's the open end of that hose, and we're going to have more of an increase in our lift, more instability to work with for air to rise and separate. And that's exactly the ingredients we need, coupled with some moisture to build showers, rain, and thunderstorms. So it's going to be an interesting weekend ahead. We'll have to see what we wake up to tomorrow in terms of Storm Prediction Center's discussion as well as their threat-based graphics. I'll go ahead and close out with you all looking at the 7-day forecast here, because if you look, we haven't had a map like this in what feels like forever, where it looks like the only glimpse of some sunshine we get is going to be on Tuesday. And now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we're not going to see the sun for the next several days, but our rain chances are so high, especially as we get into Mother's Day on Sunday, that it is going to be more of a rainy weekend than it has been in probably a few months, to tell you the truth. If you've been dying for some rainfall, it is definitely on the way. And with that being said, we'll go ahead and close out the live stream. Thank you so much for those of you who stuck around over on News 6 Plus, and thanks to the wonderful audience we have over on the News 6 YouTube channel. I see we have about 40 people watching currently. If you could be so kind as to give that like button a little nudge, share this information with friends, coworkers, loved ones, family, you name it. Anyone who does reside here in Central Florida, we're going to have to watch very closely over the next 72, if not 96 hours between now and Saturday to see exactly how much severe weather we realize around our local area. But it's definitely going to be a busy rest of the week into the holiday weekend. I definitely encourage you still keep your plans. Just make sure you have backup plans for Mother's Day, or at least a way to bob and weave and dodge any of the bad weather that could be still lingering over Central Florida on this upcoming Sunday. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop them in the comments section down below of the YouTube live stream upon the conclusion of the stream, or feel free to send the weather team an email. We're happy to give you our best estimate, our best forecast for you to keep you ahead of the storm every step of the way, and we'll see you again very soon. But until then, this is the Digital Weather Center signing out.